everyone. Welcome again to 12 Minutes to CLAT. Today we are going to discuss everything about and around the Central Vista Project, one of the most controversial events, and it becomes very important for the CLAT 21 as well as 22 aspirants to understand this event very deeply, because obviously it has a lot of legal implications and there are various other facts that we need to understand in this particular project. Okay, so Central Vista Project, we're going to discuss little bit of historical background like we always do. Then we'll move on to the project as to what is this project all about and why is this project being made in the first place. And then we'll go to the Supreme Court holding in this particular case that took place in January 2021 itself. So we'll understand it very properly. At the end of this video, I've attached certain questions about which we're not going to discuss during the video but become very important from the examination perspective. So make sure that you read all those questions, understand the answers to all those questions, and if there are any other questions that you feel are important, you can always mention in the comment box and everybody can understand those questions as well. So we'll start with the session now. The story begins in 1911 and something very historic happened in December 1911, where the capital of India was shifted from Kolkata, उस time उसको Calcutta कहते थे, from Calcutta to Delhi, right? And this was the first time this happened in 1911 में ये हुआ था. Now obviously when the government is going to shift from Calcutta to Delhi, they will need their residences, they will need places where they can work, basically the offices, the parliament building and so on. So in 1911 there was this architect called Edwin Lutyens. Okay, so he was the head of all the architects that were there. Edwin Lutyens built certain important buildings called the Rashtrapati Bhavan, the Parliament building that we have right now. So these are certain buildings that was built at that time. In fact, the Rajpath. Okay, so Rajpath is basically the lane between the India Gate and the Rashtrapati Bhavan. So these were certain important, I would say, attractions that he built at that time, important buildings that he made at that time. So उस टाइम जो राष्ट्रपति भवन था, that was called the Viceroy's house. So he moved it from Calcutta to Delhi, और वहाँ पे Edwin Lutyens ने he made all these buildings. In fact, Rajpath was also called the King's Way. So these are certain important information that everybody should know about the history of the entire Central Vista project. Okay, so let's now understand कि Central Vista project क्या है. Central Vista project is basically making those buildings again, or basically reconstructing those buildings which were made by Sir Edwin Lutyens उस टाइम पर. ठीक है, 1911 से 1930 तक काफ़ी ज़्यादा काम चला था. So उस टाइम जो बिल्डिंग्स बन गई थी उनको रिकंस्ट्रक्ट किया जाएगा. एंड व्हाट आर दोज बिल्डिंग्स? लेट्स लुक. सो दिस इज द पार्लियामेंट, द राष्ट्रपति भवन एंड द हाउस ऑफ द वाइस प्रेसिडेंट एज वेल एज द प्राइम मिनिस्टर, 10 गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसेज, and there is this north block and the south block which will be turned into a museum. So north block में the major ministries were the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Home Affairs. South block में there was this PM office, Ministry of Defense as well as Ministry of External Affairs. So these are certain changes that are going to be brought by the Central Vista project. And this is not a small project we're talking about. Okay, it's not just about these buildings. This project ranges from India Gate to the Rajpath, which is 3.2 kilometers away. Okay, so उसके रास्ते में काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें आएंगी which will be redeveloped. Now, so 3.2 kilometers, let's understand कि इसकी major controversies क्या क्या थी, right? The most important and the controversial point that is coming recently is that this project will cost 922 crores to the Indian government, and Indian government wants to finish this project by March 2024. ठीक है, पार्लियामेंट बिल्डिंग 2022 तक दे आर एमिंग, बट पूरा प्रोजेक्ट 2024 तक खत्म होने के चांसेस हैं एज पर दी इंफॉर्मेशन दैट हैज बीन प्रोवाइडेड. नाउ द थिंग इज 922 crore is a huge amount at a time when our country is suffering from a medical emergency, we can say, right? Where people are running short of oxygen, people are running short of hospitals and hospital beds, people are dying recklessly. And other than that also, if we look at the general state of our economy, we're in a bad position right now, we're in a bad condition if we look at it. So spending such a hefty amount on building parliamentary buildings, as a lot of people say, in fact the critics say, that does not make sense. So another triggering point for the controversy is that even during the lockdown in 2021, when everything is under lockdown, we're all staying at home, this Central Vista project is considered an essential activity and the work in the Central Vista project is going on. So critics feel that the government is basically keeping its own interest as a priority. So that is another point of controversy. Okay, so we'll not go into it very deep because that is obviously not a question that is expected. That is for your general knowledge. Now, what happened was last year in March or April, there was this petition filed by this person called Rajiv Suri against this entire project. Okay, so finally the judgment was delivered by a 3-judge bench of the Supreme Court in January 2021 itself, and the Supreme Court by a majority of 2:1 allowed the Central Vista project. ठीक है, तो दो जो जजेस थे जो मेजोरिटी में थे, दैट वाज जस्टिस खनविलकर एंड जस्टिस दिनेश माहेश्वरी. इन लोगों ने क्या कहा, दैट देयर आर सर्टेन क्वेश्चंस ऑफ वी कैन से एथिक्स और मोरालिटी, बट ऑब्वियसली इसमें कोई लीगैलिटी का क्वेश्चन नहीं है, एंड अनलेस देयर इज अ लीगल क्वेश्चन इन प्लेस, it is not the court's duty, and in fact court does not have the power to ask the government any questions on its policy. In fact, the court does not have the power to ask the government to not spend certain amount of money on particular activities or particular projects. That is not within the power of the Supreme Court or any court in India for that matter. Now, there was this minority opinion which was written by Justice Sanjeev Khanna. In his opinion, he said that the government should have applied through particular procedures. He said that there were certain procedural deformities in this entire project that has been constructed, because what happened was इसमें एक कमिटी बनाई गई थी. कमिटी में कुछ मेंबर्स थे जो इंडिपेंडेंट मेंबर्स थे, बट देन ड्यू टू सम रीजंस, ड्यू टू प्रॉब्ली कोविड रीजंस, दे कुड नॉट अटेंड द मीटिंग, एंड despite them not attending the meeting, a decision was finally taken and a go ahead was given to the entire project. Okay, and other than this, he also said that all the information relating to the plan of the project, the reason for the project, the amount of money to be spent should be given by the government in the public domain. That has not been done. However, since there were 2 judges in the favor of it, the judgment was delivered and Central Vista project is going on. उससे पहले गवर्नमेंट ने बीच में एक बार इस पे स्टे लगा दिया था while the proceedings are going on. सेंट्रल विस्टा प्रोजेक्ट का काम एक बार रुक गया था, ठीक है, लेकिन जनवरी से काम फिर से शुरू हो गया प्रॉपर्ली. Now there was certain additional directions given by the Supreme Court in this matter. Okay, ऐसा नहीं किया कि आप जो करना है कर लो. So there were 2 basic and major directions. First one was on all the buildings once they are constructed, the government is required to install smog towers. ठीक है, smog towers are basically huge air purifiers. तो वहाँ का जो भी air होगा वो काफी clean रहेगा इस वजह से. So smog towers of appropriate capacity are required to be installed by the government. Other than that, जब तक कंस्ट्रक्शन चल रहा है, till the time it is in the construction phase, the government is required to install certain smog guns also. Okay, smog gun से ये फायदा होता है कि जो भी मतलब पोल्यूशन होता है वो थोड़ा कम हो जाता है और उसको डिटेक्ट करके कम कर लेता है, राइट. सो स्मॉग गन्स को इंस्टॉल करना भी इंपॉर्टेंट है कंस्ट्रक्शन फेज में. दोज वर द 2 डायरेक्शंस गिवन. नाउ लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड कि सेंट्रल विस्टा प्रोजेक्ट की जरूरत क्या है, इतना पैसा खर्च करने की जरूरत क्या है. So these are certain points that have been given by the government and various other ministries of the government. So right now जो हमारे पास बिल्डिंग है, जो पार्लियामेंट्री बिल्डिंग है, various other ministries and so on, they are about 100 years old now. Okay, so the government feel कि उनका जो लाइफ था, उन बिल्डिंग्स का जो लाइफ था वो पूरा हो चुका है, and there is a possibility कि वहाँ पे सेफ्टी कंसर्न्स हो जाए कुछ टाइम बाद. Therefore we require a new building, a new set of buildings for these ministries as well as various other राष्ट्रपति भवन और जो भी पार्लियामेंट की हम बात कर रहे थे. Another concern is that this building does not have space for all the ministries. ठीक है, so सारी ministries के लिए space नहीं है. कुछ ministries हैं जो शायद साथ में काम करती है but their offices are far apart, so it's very difficult for them to coordinate also at times. Now this creates a lot of problem because ये सब चीजें पुराने तरीके से बनी गई थी, ठीक है. So नए तरीके से government is trying to develop it. Government ने इसमें एक आत्मनिर्भर वाला point भी लाया है, which when they say that when this entire project is ready, you will see that it will actually tell you about all the diversity that our country has. Okay, so this will give a very good this will be a very good tourist attraction for a lot of people who come from various countries also, right. So this is another reason that the government has given. Moreover, there are no proper parking spaces also in that area because वो काफी पहले बना था, and you know there are a lot of concerns. So जैसे हमने डिस्कस किया the राजीव सूरी केस, राजीव सूरी वर्सेस DDA, उस पर्टिकुलर केस में मेन कंसर्न यही था कि इतना ज्यादा जब एरिया गवर्नमेंट कवर कर लेगी और उसमें चीजें बनाएगी, सो दैट इज अ वायलेशन ऑफ आर्टिकल 21 विच इज राइट टू लाइफ, बिकॉज हमारे जो ग्रीन स्पेसेस है वो चले जाएंगे, बिकॉज देयर आर लॉट ऑफ ग्रीन स्पेसेस डाउन देयर. ओके, तो गवर्नमेंट को बेसिकली गवर्नमेंट विल मेक श्योर कि वो ग्रीन स्पेसेस ना जाएं, एंड सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज ऑल्सो गिवन इट्स ऑर्डर विद रिस्पेक्ट टू इट दैट यू शुड डू दिस, you can do this, but then with certain proper precautions. Okay, so that is it from my side with respect to the videos. Please look at the end of the video for very important questions that may be asked from this particular topic. If you like our sessions, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that you don't miss any updates from us. And if you like our videos, please share it with other people also so that others can also learn and help themselves in their preparation for their exams. All the best guys, prepare well.